Let me say good morning again to all. Indeed, for DASPA, I'm going to just give you a short update because we've been publicly trying to disseminate information as much as we can. Today, we are pleased to inform the public that we have increased in terms of the capacity for our storage locations. Yesterday we completed another 4,800 square feet of covered space in Shed 1, and today we will be moving more cargo into Shed 1 so that we can destuff containers at a faster rate to facilitate those persons bringing in barrels and boxes. In terms of the families and friends, we've already indicated, as has been pointed out earlier, that those items will be coming in without any charge through DASPA. So those persons bringing in food, stuff, generators, as has been pointed out earlier, mattresses and personal items will not be levied with any charges at DASPA, and that will be something that will continue as long as the concessions continue. We want to point out clearly that from the commercial standpoint, all the commercial rates prior to Maria at DASPA will continue to be applied. One of the challenges we do have is that the mercantile community has been a little slow in responding to moving cargo out of the port. Clearly, they were impacted heavily by Hurricane Maria, and some of them lost their offices, some of them lost their storage locations, and that was mainly the reason why there have been some slow movement. However, over the last couple of days, we've seen increased movement of cargo at the port from the mercantile community, and that's a good sign because we have been taking in a number of containers from the ships on a regular basis, and we are extending our operating hours to facilitate the mercantile community getting their containers to their properties. We are going to start this week a function where we will go up to about 7 p.m. So that the truckers, especially so, can move containers to the merchants' location. From about 2 in the afternoon, we will be dealing with them once there is no vessel in port, and we'll take them up to about 7 p.m. at night, so that they can move as many containers as possible to the premises of the mercantile community. The thing is that we want to make sure that those persons, especially the families and friends who are moving individual barrels and boxes, that we will try to deal with them as early as possible within the early morning from 8 to about 2, because we know that some of them come from very far areas and have to go back up to the countryside. And so if we are able to deal with them in the morning, then it will make it far easier for us to be able to deal with the truckers later in the afternoon. That will continue until we can ease up the storage issues that we have at the port. And I must say that we've been getting quite a bit of cooperation from the Customs Department. They have been working side by side with us and have been extending themselves to working long hours at the port to facilitate the movement of cargo on the port. One of the other things that we're going to seek to do is, until it is necessary, we are in fact going to work on Saturdays, where we're going to work from 9 to 3 along with the Customs to facilitate again the persons moving cargo, especially individual persons who want to clear barrels, boxes and crates, to be able to do that. And we did so last week, Saturday, and quite a few people took advantage of it. But we think we will again publicize it as much as we can so that persons can take advantage of it. We're doing so all in an effort to ensure that persons can receive the packages that have been sent to them within 2 to 3 days after the goods have landed on the port. Clearly, for those individuals who may be awaiting a generator or their tarpaulins or a mattress, we want to make sure that they can get it within the shortest possible time. And I think based on the way it is being expedited through the various agencies, it is done so that persons can turn around at the port very quickly. The thing is, we need to get it out of the containers and get it into the transit shed so that the necessary examinations can be performed. Clearly, we need to protect our country, and as has been indicated by the Comptroller of Customs, there are procedures put in place to ensure that the necessary safeguards are there so that the goods that are imported are goods we really want to enter Dominica. And so we again heralding that message that no illegal items will be transited through our ports, and so that persons should take notice that we would like to accept cargo into Dominica, but we would like to ensure that persons comply with the legal provisions of the law in terms of doing so. So we want to ensure that that is being done, and we would want to facilitate as much as we can all of the cargo coming into Dominica. We're also trying to facilitate the movement of containers out of Dominica, that's the empty containers out of Dominica. Since we have an increased volume of containers coming in, that would also lead to an increased number of empties. And so we're trying to talk to the lines to ensure that they, in fact, take on the empties when they come into port. And we have just taken on a temporary basis, the car park area where we are stocking empties to be able to do so. So in terms of the processes, as has been outlined, once you receive or cargo is sent to you via families and friends, we are advising that you go to the relevant agent. For example, if your goods are shipped via Tropical, you would go to the Tropical offices and you need to get an agent release form. Customs will not process any goods for you. DASPA will not process any items for you until you have an agent release form. That agent release form, once you have satisfied that request, then you can be processed through the Customs Assecutor system, and you can also be processed through the DASPA cargo flow management system. Once that is done, there is a very quick process in terms of the examination of the goods by Customs. Once you have fulfilled that process, and you either have to pay a fee based on the tariff item, or you may have to be given free of charge, then that process through DASPA, you get your goods and you're able to get a gate pass to get you out of the port. So the intention is not to have a long process through the port, but to expedite the measures as quick as possible. In relation to the commercial cargo, obviously in the commercial cargo sector, you have to now go through the process of all the necessary documentation, which is necessary to be filled by Customs and the other agencies. You have all the other agencies require you to go through those documentation. Those documentation has not been suspended in any way at all, but you have to be able to deal with those things. So what we are advising is that you go through those process, and I'm sure a lot of the persons, the commercial persons, have the information long before the goods arrive in Dominica. So you can start that process even before the cargo arrives in Dominica to expedite the process for clearing of cargo. Because once you can do that and move through the customs as quickly as possible, then at the port we will be willing to try to ensure that you can get the goods quickly. One of the other things that we're trying to do is to work with some of the commercial persons, and they identify clearly for us the containers that they have cleared through customs very early. And if they do that, what we will try to do is to set aside those containers so that it can be provided to them very quickly when they get to the port. So if we have the information will be processed, and our officers will try our best to do what is necessary to be done. The ferry terminal continues to operate very smoothly. In terms of the temporary location it's in now, in terms of the ferry terminal, there seems to be no undue delays to persons, and we are in fact running smoothly. Obviously, we are in the process of trying to repair the facility so that persons can be safeguarded, and it's even better and more conducive for the kind of business environment that we want to, especially as it relates to tourism, where we're trying to once again ensure that we can prepare the ferry to receive persons who wish to come to Dominica for leisure purposes. The issue here is we want to make sure that we can do so. The only problem we do have at the moment, and we're trying to see how we can resolve that, is the electrical issues that we have at the ferry terminal. And we have temporary lighting, but we'll try to improve it as we go along. I'm happy to inform the public that as of Saturday past, we were connected back to the Domlec grid. So that is good for us in the sense that we were depending on our generators in the past, but as you know, that we from time to time we had to shut down for maintenance issues, and that also caused disruptions in the service. So we are able now to have everything running on Domlec, so that creates more reliability in the system, and we are working on our other electrical installations to be able to ensure that nighttime activity work can take place smoothly with the offloading of ships. We are responsible for landing, storage, and delivery of cargo, and so that is our responsibility from the time the vessel arrives in port. The pilots that go on board the vessel are administered by DASPA, and the stevedores and longshoremen who do a fantastic job from the time Erica. They have been working relentlessly to get the cargo off the ships, and they've been doing an outstanding job. They fall under the responsibility of DASPA. We have the port officers, security personnel, and all the others who have been doing a splendid job in terms of keeping us going ever since the hurricane. At the airports, we also have Canefield and Douglas Charles. We have the work being done there, and we have been working with the airlines. Pretty soon you will hear of an announcement by Liat in terms of flight schedule changes, which they will make, and some additional flights will be put on. There will be one, I take it, that will be coming a little earlier, somewhere about 6:40 in the morning, and that will be good because it will be coming from Antigua very early in the morning. And that will be good for some of those persons wishing to connect. So we are in fact trying to work with the airlines to ensure that they can increase the number of flights into Dominica. And again, I'm happy to report that our precision approach path indicator, which in short is called the PAPI, which assists the aircrafts in landing, has been certified by the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority, and it was made inoperable after the storm, because after every heavy weather event it has to be tested, and we were happy to report that that was tested and a certificate was issued in terms of its operation. So again, our air traffic controllers are able to have that to assist the pilots in landing the aircrafts safely at the airport. Generally, I want to point out that we are really trying to seek to smooth the operations, especially so at Woodbridge Bay Port. And we are also beginning work to try to bring back the cruise terminal in Roseau. We have already started plans to be able to ensure that we can repair the facility and have it ready come very early 2018 and for the next season. So that work is continuing on this one, and we're hoping as we go along we can report the progress being made to have the facility repaired. Thank you.